No, let's crack on then. Right. So this morning we're going to hear from Joe Davies, who is a great man currently in London, gets around all over the place. Joe, of course, runs the Cumbria Opera Group, amongst many other things. And I can actually say he's got many strings to his bow. I think that would be quite appropriate. Do you see what I did there? So we're going to hear from Joe about the next evolution of the Cumbria Opera Festival, which is taking place this August right across the county, remarkably right across the county. So Joe's going to tell us about that. We're also going to hear from Deborah and Ben, who are sitting there in Shap, and that's Deborah's painting of, I think are they tulips or are they daffodils? It's too far away. Tulips, yeah. Tulips on the wall. Because a brand new art trail is opening this summer, Above Eden Artist Trail, and Ben, who is a potter, has also opened. I think I'm right in saying, Ben, you're opening a pottery studio as part of the trail.
Yeah. It's called Piku Pottery, and it's located on the main street of Shap. So yeah, just opening up very soon.
Exciting, hard-working times for you. So we're going to hear from Deborah and Ben shortly about that as well. And before we turn to Joe though, and then hear from Deborah and Ben, Kate, did you want to mention anything more about See It to Be It, which is the big CACN project for the next 2 years, which has been launched recently?
Yeah, so sorry, you're probably all going to get a bit sick of this, but See It to Be It is the new project that we are launching. We've just received £175,000 from Arts Council England to work with lots of organisations across Cumbria, all pulling in the same direction towards the same aim, which is to make it easier for young people to build valued and viable creative careers in Cumbria. We're going to be doing three things, which is essentially to join up all the good efforts that are already going on to support young people and promote them better under the See It to Be It banner. We're going to get more people into schools from the creative sector so that children and young people get to better understand what a creative career can even look like. And then thirdly, we're going to create more paid opportunities for young creatives by working together as a sector, and partly thanks to the money from Arts Council. So it's really, really exciting. This week has been about getting the word out, and you might have seen stuff on social media about that. We've also, yesterday I was on Radio Cumbria talking about it. So we're asking our partners, and they are many and various, ranging from, big organisations like Theatre by the Lake to tiny organisations like Jack McNeil and his Propeller Ensemble, to get the word out and make sure that we are getting awareness raised to begin with. And then behind the scenes, we are gradually putting our systems and mechanisms in place to be able to start to roll the project out. So that's been this week.
Okay, even though we've got Joe Davies on the call, and Amy as well, I'd suggest that the average age of this call is not in its 20s or 30s. So that is our challenge, is to cut through to an audience that is younger, and to get that audience engaged and working with us so that we can help them. So that is the challenge, I think, right at the front of this project. Thank you. How did the interview on Radio Cumbria go? Did you swear?
No, you told me not to.
Oh.
So no. I didn't swear, and I tried not to be dull. Those are the two pieces of advice that Tom gave me. Don't be dull and don't swear. So,
and you reckon you've achieved both of those?
Well, that's for others to judge.
Okay. It was about 12:15, if you want to go back on BBC Sounds, about 12:15 yesterday on Radio Cumbria. And also, I was going to mention as well, and then we're going to hear from Joe, Curated Cumbria, which is the new newsletter that has been launched by CACN and Intro, which is a PR company headed up by Nick Turner and Helen Statham in Carlisle. It's on Substack. If you've not subscribed to that, over 1,000 people have subscribed to that already in about 5 weeks, which is quite remarkable. So hopefully get your teeth into that. Curated Cumbria, hopefully a good attempt to have a high quality listings, but also reviews and little articles about the cultural sector across the county.
So and it now has a dedicated email address, doesn't it? So
I was about to say that, yes. It's called Curated Cumbria, and the email address, if you want to funnel anything towards the people that pull that together, and obviously it is curated, the email address is curatedcumbria@weareintro.co.uk. Thank you, Derek. I hope I've got that right. Curated Cumbria at
That's it.
weareintro.co.uk.
That's it.
Yeah. So anything that you're doing or that you want to try and get into Curated Cumbria, which comes out every week, that is the email address, the one generic email address to use, Curated Cumbria at weareintro.co.uk. And we've just basically made that happen. So we'll be pushing that. And there's a press release about Curated Cumbria on the intro website as well, which Amy might dig into and pop onto the chat too, if you want to find out more about that. Derek says, Tom already engaging in ages in my notes. Tremendous funding achievement and great purpose. Well done, all responsible. Derek, thank you. I'll take that as a sideways compliment. Right, let's crack on. And let's hear from Joe Davies, who is a remarkable man that runs the Cumbria Opera Group, amongst many, many other things. Joe, tell us what you're doing at the moment, and then tell us about the Cumbria Opera Group's festival for this summer. And I think we've got some beautiful slides with some tiles on them of lots of your stuff in action. Tell us a bit about yourself, first of all, Joe. Again, for people that don't know you, who are you and what do you do?
Hi everyone. Hi, good to see you all. My name's Joe, and I'm from Cumbria. I went to Appleby Primary, then went to Quakes Penrith, and I now live in London. I'm a freelance conductor, so I conduct orchestras all around the UK. 99% traveling, 1% conducting is my profession, really. But I'm always glad to come back to Cumbria whenever I can, and I'm very grateful that a lot of my work takes me back to Cumbria. I was there just last Saturday conducting the Carlisle Proms at the castle, which was great fun. And one of the main things I do is the Cumbria Opera Group, which, as Tom said, has its festival just around the corner.
Great. Well, we'll try and pull up those slides for you, Joe, while Amy is frantically probably doing about 1,000 other things behind the scenes. She's got the slides. Tell us a bit about your love of opera. Why does opera matter, first of all, Joe? And then we'll come to talk all about the festival. But why do you do opera?
Why do we do opera? I mean, opera is a varied and exciting and intricate art form which combines so many different genres, so many different disciplines, and is just a brilliant thing to see and be a part of. And you know, it's all known too well that opera has a misconception of being for a particular social class, for a particular income threshold, and we want to do our little part, do our part in this part of the world in breaking down those barriers and really saying that opera can be for everyone, that it is an exciting and varied art form, and that everyone can go and enjoy themselves. We founded it in 2016, so 10 years it will be next year. And this is our third festival. We did the first festival in 2021, we did one in 2023, and then this is the third festival coming this year, which, you know, takes events all across Cumbria, right from down to Barrow up to Carlisle, with lots of places in between, and celebrates the many different forms that opera can take and the many ways it can entertain us and move us and inspire us.
Okay, here we go. Here are the these are obviously from past years, past festivals, Joe?
Yes, these are actually from 2021, and I went back to 2021 because thematically, this festival is very much a sequel of that, in terms of the genres we've chosen. So the top layer, the top six photos are from an opera called Così fan tutte by Mozart, which is a comic opera, and it's owes a lot to Commedia dell'arte. And the opera, one of the operas we're doing this year is The Marriage of Figaro, also by Mozart, also a comedy, also a Commedia dell'arte tribute, really. It involves a lot of wife swapping and buffoonery and complications and misconceptions and all these kind of things which made audiences laugh 200, 300 years ago and still make audiences laugh today. The second row down is an opera called A Hand of Bridge, which is sort of a psychological drama opera, very character-based, very complicated, very gothic. And again, an opera we're doing this year is an opera called The Turn of the Screw, based on the Henry James novel, which I'm sure many of you have read. It's a brilliant novella, and we're doing Benjamin Britten's version of that, which similarly is a a psychological drama. I didn't know until recently that Henry James's brother was actually a psychiatrist. So, where he got a lot of his ideas, Henry James, was from his brother. And it really is a story played in the mind. And we don't know what's real and what's not real, particularly in view of the fact that there's ghosts in that opera. So the Turn of the Screw will be happening this year at the Victoria Hall in Grange.
That's
And
a
then at
lovely
the
venue.
bottom,
Lovely, lovely venue.
yeah, brilliant, yeah. And then at the bottom, one of my favourite things we've ever done with Cumbria Opera is an opera called Trouble in Tahiti, which is a jazz opera, which always strikes people by surprise that jazz can be done in opera. And, as I said, opera can be anything. Opera can combine with loads of genres. So that was an opera by Bernstein, and we did that in Kendal. Um, and so this year we are doing an opera called Porgy and Bess by Gershwin, which involves so many of the famous jazz standards like Summertime and It Ain't Necessarily So and I Got Plenty of Nothing. All those brilliant jazz standards come from an opera, Porgy and Bess. Um, and it's actually this year is the 100th anniversary of the novel that Gershwin got his ideas from. A novel's just called Porgy. And it's the 100th anniversary of that novel being released. So we're celebrating that with a stripped back version of Porgy. It will just involve a small jazz band and two singers for a really kind of jazz nightclub style event. And that will happen at Kendal Town Hall and the Tithe Barn in Carlisle.
Fantastic. And I think we've got two more slides as well, haven't we? If we go to the next slide, there we go. So this is also something that you do, Joe. Is this part of the festival, or is this something separate?
Both really. So it links in because we do a lot of work in schools in the lead up and during the festival. It really is a central part of what we do to go into schools and do singing workshops and language workshops and drama sessions. And it's something that's really important. But the reason I've used these photos in particular is the top two photos are an open workshop we ran in 2021 with the cast for Così fan tutte. And you'll see that young woman in the foreground of the top left photo with the blue hoodie is Nuala. And she's 14 in that photo, but she's now 18. And she's directing the Young Artist Showcase we're doing this year on the 23rd of August in Penrith. And she's going off to study acting and music at the Guildford School of Acting. And she's directing this brilliant show, which will involve our first entourage of young artists who will all be from Cumbria, and they will be sort of 18 to 22-year-olds who will be covering various roles in Marriage of Figaro and Turn of the Screw, and will be performing their own show directed by Nuala at that really exciting event. So I use that, just to say we do these educational workshops, but we always want to link them with what we do performance-wise. So
do you think
that's
some
something.
sparks? Do you think some sparks emerged from your sessions all those years ago, Joe? For her?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I mean, she still talks about that session now to me. We were having a meeting the other day, and she still talks about how much she loved that session, and how brilliant it was to meet people, that little bit older than her who were sort of in the opera world, as it were, and she was someone at that time very into drama and music, but never really thought about opera as something that she was interested in, and now it's something that's a real focus for her and something she wants to do going forward. So that was brilliant to see. And accompanying those three operas this year, we're going to have that Young Artist Showcase. We're going to have a masterclass run by our patron Joan Rogers with young Cumbrian singers, and we're also having an opera by candlelight tour. So these are all events, that fit in our idea of opera for everyone, introducing young people to opera, doing accessible, bite-sized introductions to opera, and really showcasing opera as the accessible art form that it definitely can be.
Why'd you do all this, Joe? What drives you?
I love opera and I love Cumbria. And when I went to uni when I was 18, I saw more operas in that first few weeks than I had, growing up for 18 years in Cumbria. And that's speaking as someone who went to every classical music event they could. And wanted to produce more opera in Cumbria, wanted to make it more of an art form that had a base. It's understandably, very difficult to produce opera because there's so many elements to it. There's the set, there's the costume, the singers, the band. It gets very, very expensive. And doing it county-wide over the large geographical area that Cumbria is makes it very logistically difficult. So, it is understandable why in some parts of the country opera is so expensive to see. But we get a lot of brilliant support from funding bodies locally and nationally, and that allows us to do tickets that are 20 quid, 25 quid, as opposed to 300 quid, which is what I recently bought a ticket for at Covent Garden. I would say it was worth every penny, but it would be nice to have gone for a little bit less than that.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and we've got a third slide, and then we're going to see a clip of a bit of Don Giovanni, I think. So let's. Is this the same school?
This is a different school. This is Levens Primary School, which is a school we love going to. By the way, it's not just me who does these workshops. It's always just me in the photos. I promise there is a team of us. It's a school we love going to, and you'll see there we're trying to combine music with movement and teach lots of eurythmics and music through movement and really make it a kind of multifaceted workshop. As I say, we teach languages at the workshops as well. That's a huge part of what opera is and what opera, is defined around. So that's something that we use, and we use music as a tool to teach a whole host of things. But most importantly, it's about inspiring kids and getting them to think about music. And Leven School is a particular proud school that we do because not long after the first workshop we ran with them, they actually set up a school choir. And that school choir has gone off to do a lot of really exciting things. They went to sing at a big event at the Glass House not too long ago, and they do lots of things with Sing Up. So that's been really brilliant for us, that we've kind of helped to kickstart a real developing music program in that school. And we continue to work with the Music Hub. I'm good friends with Marion Hines, who's the head of the Music Hub, and we continue to work with them to, complement what they offer and work with them and make sure that we're encouraging young people all across the county.
All right. Well, while we just line up the clip of Don Giovanni, Kate, you, no conflict of interest, but you, as well as being director of CACN, you're also a trustee of the Cumbria Opera Group, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And I'm really excited. And it's going to be a busy old time, isn't it? And that's just as a punter. I can't imagine what it's going to be like for you, Joe. But yeah, my diary is full of all those dates. And I just think they're just so amazing, Cumbria Opera Group. They are so hardworking, so phenomenally talented and giving of their time. I love the fact that you make such an effort, Joe, to get right round Cumbria. So I just really encourage people to come and enjoy the quality of what they are doing. Even if you don't think opera is for you, please give it a try, because there are not that many opportunities in this part of the world, and you'll be surprised. I can't wait, Joe.
Right. Let's have a little look. Thank you, Kate. What's going on here then, Joe? Let's have some merriment.
So this is a segment from Don Giovanni we did in 2023, and the person who's singing it is Patrick Keefe, who is now an artist at English National Opera. So basically we can't afford him anymore. This is the first and last time he's sung with us, but he was brilliant as the title role of Don Giovanni, the complicated womanizer that Don Giovanni is. And here he's organised a big party, no prizes for guessing why. He wants to seduce a certain woman. And so he says to his manservant Leporello, organise it, please, get it ready, and let's have some merriment.
Let's have some merriment, dance and experiment. Wine and prosecco, can you prepare? Face that are pretty, dames that are witty. Or to my castle, make them aware. Or to my castle, make them aware. Make them aware, make them aware. I'll have no discipline from any citizen. Some minuetti, some to the charting. Some a fandango, let's have a show. 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 And when it's night time, it's only half time. Perfectly lady, with me will come. With me will come. With me will come. Ice cream prosecco, ice cream cornettos, go Leporello, please don't say no. Champagne prosecco, ice cream cornettos, please don't say no. Face that pretty, take to the witty, point to my person, take them away. Come party, where all is madness, where all is gladness, who's on is there? I'll have no and tango, let's have a show. Let's have some merriment, dance and experiment. Wine and prosecco, can you prepare? Can you prepare? How can you prepare? Can you prepare? How can you prepare? Can you prepare? Can you prepare? Wine, sweet wine, can you prepare?
Lovely stuff. Lovely, lovely stuff. I, you know, watching. I think I watched Don Giovanni at Grange. Could I have done that last year or 2 years ago? It was brilliant. And what I also was impressed by, Joe, was, you've not got a full orchestra because you can't, because you haven't got the space or the capacity or the finances, frankly. But you've got about 10 musicians, basically sounding like a full orchestra. I'm assuming that was you conducting at the front, was it, on that one?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so somehow you amazingly produced great music, live music for the singers and for the show as well. And of course, the other thing about opera is no one's mic'd up. I mean, that's a big voice that fella's got, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. And it takes, many years of training and perfecting. There was a funny thing I saw on social media the other day. You may have all seen the Maria Callas biopic that Angelina Jolie did, and she did an interview where she said, I've been training to sing for 7 months to do this role, and there was all kind of comments about it, like I've been training for 17 years was someone's comment. It takes years of development and practice to make it work. But Paddy, who we just saw sing, is brilliant at that, and it was actually sometimes we actually had to ask him to sing quieter in places.
Fantastic. Right. Unless anyone's got any questions for Joe, just remind us again for when this is taking place in Cumbria, and if you can remember where as well.
Yes, so it's 21st to the 30th of August, and it's events across Cumbria: Barrow, Appleby, Kendal, Keswick, Carlisle, Grange, Penrith, and they're all listed on our website, which is cumbriaoperagroup.com. There's the list there of all the events which are happening over the course of those 10 days. So yes, hope to see many of you there.
Fantastic. And day after day, Joe, apart from this?
As in, what am I doing today?
Yes.
Today I have meetings about, so it sounds like the first answer to PMQs, and I'll have meetings with ministerial colleagues. I have meetings all about COG all day, actually. It's a big meeting day. Actually, tonight I've got a very exciting meeting with the set designer, Emma Turner, who's from Cumbria, brilliant set designer. She's designing the set for Turner the Screw and Marriage of Figure. So I've got a very exciting meeting, and she's bringing one of her little model sets. So that's something to look forward to, actually.
Fantastic. All right. Okay. Thank you very much for coming on this morning, Joe. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. I just commend that to you. If you get a chance to go to any of those shows in any of those places right around Cumbria, it's fantastic. It's just a fun night out as well. And you'll remember it for some time to come. So great stuff. Thanks, Joe, and good luck with it all as well. May the stars shine brightly for you.
Great,
right.
Thank you.
Okay, let's cross now from London to Shap. Why wouldn't you want to do that? And we're going to hear now from Deborah and from Ben. And Deborah, in particular, and Ben as a participant, is being behind getting the new Above Eden Artist Trail off the ground. It's taking place very soon. And Deborah, if you'd like to come off mute and tell us a bit about yourself, first of all, and what the thinking is behind this Artist Trail.
Oh, hello, everybody. I'm a painter. I've lived in Shap for about 14 years. And in that time, I've seen it change enormously. Many more artists and creative people have moved in. I don't know why that is. Maybe it's the house prices or just a beautiful area. But yes, we've got many young artists and craft people moving in. So really, out of necessity, a friend and I, another painter, Suzanne Stewart Davies, decided to set up a new art trail in Shap, or based in Shap and the surrounding villages. We found that really we're too far away from Penrith and Kendal to have successful joining with their art trails successfully. So we decided to set up our own art trail. We also have a beautiful gallery in Shap. I don't know if anybody knows about it. At the old courthouse. It's a lovely, light, beautiful gallery, really lovely. It's run by volunteers from the village. And we put on all sorts of different exhibitions, local artists, other people from Cumbria. I think Alison's actually had an exhibition here, haven't you, Alison? Yep.
Yes, I saw some of Ali's
Yeah,
work.
Alison,
That's
Alison
there. Yeah,
Critchlow has
absolutely.
had
Yeah.
a lovely exhibition here. So yes, another reason we decided to set up this art trail is because Ben arrived in the village a few months ago and has set up a pottery, and you're going to be teaching there, aren't you, Ben?
So Ben,
Yeah.
let's cross over to Ben then. Tell us a bit about yourself, Ben.
So yeah, I've been doing ceramics for 12 years now. I did fine art in Leeds at university. Then I moved back up to Cumbria and I did an apprenticeship with a potter called Stuart Broadhurst. So I was with him for a year, and then I moved into a friend's barn on a farm and worked there for 5 years making ceramics. I've since moved down to Liverpool, and I was living down in Liverpool for 5 years, where I was working from a studio pottery called Altar Pottery. And that's where I really kind of honed my skills on the teaching side of it. And we were doing lots of evening classes and workshops. And then I've since then moved back up to Cumbria again, and had the opportunity to take over the property in Shap. I grew up 2 miles away from Shap, so it kind of feels like I'm coming home. I feel really comfortable in the area. And like Deborah said, there seems to be this kind of new creative kind of buzz going on in and around Shap. There's lots of young people moved in and
Other potters,
quite
a few potters.
and it's just the location was perfect. With
Yeah.
access on the M6 and
Great location.
really easy access.
People think that Shap's the middle of nowhere, but actually we're only 10 miles from Kendal and 8 miles from Penrith, aren't we?
Yeah.
And it's easy to get off the motorway.
It's great.
Yeah, and I think also people think that Shap's a bit backward. We're trying to get rid of that idea, aren't we? Prove that it's really got a lot to offer.
No,
especially with the gallery, which people haven't really found out about yet.
So yeah, no, it just seems like it's just a great place for a pottery. It's a great little village, nice sense of community still.
Beautiful landscape
with the hills behind, easy access to get towards the lakes and hills and nice walks. And so yeah, I've been steadily getting the pottery ready, sourcing wheels, getting everything sorted out. So I'm going to be doing regular evening classes, kind of like Mondays to Wednesdays. So I feel that it's important that if people want to have an interest in pottery, that it's something they can get access to on a regular basis so that their skills can progress and develop. So I feel like there seems to be a lack of regular, easy accessible evening classes in Cumbria. There seems to be a lot of experience days, which are kind of like the higher end price point, which I will be offering as well, because it's nice for people to come in for a day and experience ceramics and have a go on the wheels and things. But I really want to be a place where people can come on a regular basis to build their confidence, learn the skill, and really get involved in making ceramics. So yeah.
What sort of work? What sort of work do you do, Ben?
So I do predominantly functional tableware. So I do lots of teapots and mugs and things like that. But I also do decorative pieces. There's one of a painted piece with a face on it. So I kind of do decorative pieces. I mean, make some porcelain brooches. I'll do everything. I've got everything but a toilet. So yeah. So I'm pretty.
And where did you? I mean, did this spark for you at school, or you said you did a fine art degree, I think? But where did you start out from?
So yeah. So the first thing I ever did in ceramics was when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and it was at Tully House. It must have been like a little ceramics workshop, and then we had a potter come into my school, and yeah, it's just always been something that's rumbling on in the background. When I was at university, I did evening classes in it, and it was when I moved back up to Cumbria, in Askham, there was a potter called Stuart Broadhurst. So and then I just popped in to see him and said, "Oh, hiya, would you mind if I was your apprentice?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure thing, come in." So then I was with him for a year, and he was trained by a guy called Derek Ems, who was trained by Bernard Leach down in St. Ives. So he has a real strong traditional techniques behind him. So we were gathering local clay from the Lauder River banks, and making natural glazes from wood ash, etc. So yeah, so I've got like a really like traditional knowledge of how to throw and make ceramics.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to like bring my kind of fine art side of it into it as well, with the kind of pottery and decorative styles and techniques and things. But yeah,
And
so
just the way you've talked about that just makes me think about, this See It to Be It project, Kate. Ben was just saying there, as a 3-year-old going to Tully House, someone coming into school, having a chance to do a bit at school, all that kind of stuff, and how that influences choices that one makes a bit later in life.
Absolutely. It's absolutely. I mean, I'm sure Tully would be delighted to know that they were at the start of your journey, but and whoever took you to that workshop, hurrah for them.
yeah,
We also now want to help those children and young people who don't necessarily have somebody at home who will take them to a workshop, and to provide those opportunities in school so that we light as many sparks as possible, and then make sure that the opportunities are there through their journey. And it's amazing. Well done to you that you've created your own opportunity, because that is partly what you have to do in Cumbria, isn't it?
yeah.
But do stay in touch with us, and hopefully we can continue to
Well, yeah, that'd be
support
good.
you and at least champion what you're doing.
No,
Can I ask you,
definitely.
Ben, do you make a living? Do you make a living out of your pottery and ceramics?
Well, I haven't been for the past year once I've been setting up, but yeah,
Yeah,
I have been, yeah.
yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge achievement in itself as
So
well.
yeah.
I'm going to cross to Bowness on Solway, where I suspect Ali is at the moment. Al, what's the secret to a successful art trail? You've done a few yourself. What should they be doing?
Um, so Deborah and I have talked about this a little bit. I think what we have going on up in Bowness is a bit it's a bit particular to the place, because it's a really rural place. And a bit like they've just been saying in Shap, they have a lot of artists there, but people sort of don't realise it's a thing. It's a bit off the beaten track, and we have the same issues here. So we've had some really fruitful conversation about that. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think there's a golden way forward, but I think they're doing everything right. Like, just start it up and see how it is, and then go from there. I think
You've helped us a lot. You've helped us a lot, Alison. Yes.
I'm really looking forward to coming to see it. I think it'll
Yeah.
be really great. We're about, I think ours will be the 7th year this year, and we're sort of evolving ours a bit now. So we're kind of I think it's that responding.
For people that don't know about yours, Al, in a nutshell, where is yours and how many artists involved?
Well,
Called Around the Art Trail, isn't it?
it's
Around the Island.
Around the island.
Around the Island Art Trail on Facebook, and ours will be the last 2 weekends in September. Yeah, so this year we're evolving it to have a little fringe. So I'll tell you all about that bit nearer the time. But I think it'll be super exciting to see what's happening in Shap. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
it's on my calendar. I'm going to be there.
yeah, great.
I think refreshments are important. I think people want to have a sit down, have a cup of tea and a piece of cake somewhere.
Well,
Have you got that lined up?
Definitely, yes. We've got three venues that are going to serve teas. Yeah, definitely. My house, and Lydia Burns, who's down in Kells with her daughter, the photographer, Tara Burns, who's a wonderful photographer, and possibly Ben will be offering a cup of tea, will
Yeah,
he?
yeah, there'll be some
peanut biscuits at Ben's as well. Plenty of room at Ben's, yeah.
And Deborah, tell us a bit more about your work and where you've come from.
Well, actually, I also started as a potter, a ceramicist. I was living in London at the time, and I went to Middlesex Poly, and then I set up in Ladbroke Grove with a friend. We had an artist, a ceramic artist studio under the flyover. I went back down to live in Kent, and I did teaching, and sort of my work became more. I became more interested in painting. I was always more interested in the decorative side of ceramics. Like Ben, also, well, you love both, don't you? But I think so. My painting evolved, and I then did another degree in Canterbury, a painting degree. And then we moved up to Cumbria about 14 years ago. My husband got a job in eco-architecture, and we moved up here. And I've been painting. I've got a little studio in the garden. Used to be an old wash house. That's where I paint. And I've got a gallery in Oxfordshire where I sell work. But apart from that, I'm not really doing much selling. And I think the trail is going to, I don't know whether we'll sell anything. We're not actually that bothered by selling at the moment, but hopefully we'll build it up year by year and it'll become a good event, basically. We're just hoping that people will find us. So
I'm sure they will, but I think, again, my other observation is publicising it going on and doing that in multiple different ways, in multiple platforms, cutting through to multiple audiences like this one, frankly, is a really, really important part of the whole successful process,
definitely.
which I'm sure you're aware of.
Fantastic, yes. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, so the dates again, just remind us of the dates. End of July, is that right?
Yeah, 26th, 27th, the weekend of the 26th and the 27th of July.
Okay.
And between 10 a.m. and 5 p.m.
Great. Okay. And how many studios will be open?
There'll be 5 studios open and 6 artists, and also the old courthouse, which is the hub, really the centre, where we've also got an accompanying exhibition where the 3 other artists from Shap will be showing their work. A jeweller and June Hill is a textile designer and another painter. So.
And there'll be some demonstrations.
Demonstrations of jewellery making, silversmithing, and
I'll be doing some pottery
pottery, yes.
Yeah,
So there'll be plenty of demonstrations throughout the weekend and also throughout the course of the exhibition, which runs until the 3rd of August, I think, the 5th of August. So that's open until, 5th of August. 3rd of August, sorry. 3rd of August.
Sometime at the beginning of August.
That's right, yeah.
All right, lovely stuff. Okay, well, thank you for coming on and talking to us about it this morning.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity. It's wonderful.
That's okay. And if we can help you publicise it, then we will. And I shall certainly aim to get down there myself. I really like Shap. It's a funny place, Shap.
It is.
And it's got a really interesting history. And it's one of those places on a key route that has sort of now been bypassed, obviously, by the M6, but still very much is a sort of stopping off point, obviously for fish and chip supper.
Yeah. There's a good cafe. There's a very good cafe that's open. That'll be open on Saturday. I'm not sure they're open on Sunday, but
have they still got is that New Balance shop still there?
No, that's gone, unfortunately.
Okay, all right.
That used to bring a lot of people in, but
that was my first job was in there. It was
was it?
Yeah, on the shop floor, yeah. So,
but we have got a wonderful charity shop that's open 6 days a week. Wonderful.
Okay, worth knowing about.
Yeah,
that's good.
All right. Nice to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
On this morning. My
Thank
pleasure.
you, everybody.
We've got about 15 minutes left, so we're now just going to cross to Claire Websall, who I suspect is near Bassenthwaite this morning. Is that right, Claire?
So near, I'm in Bassenthwaite.
There you go. But not actually in Bassenthwaite, but the place next to it. Yeah, okay.
Paddling.
Now, Claire, you've got a lot of strings to your bow as well, but the one you're going to talk about this morning is the theatre piece that you're doing with Monique. So tell us about what that's all about.
Yeah, so I've got 2 hats on today, really. One is as a member of Manchester Playback Theatre, and one is of part of newly forming Cumbria Playback Theatre. And as Cumbria Playback Theatre, we're hosting an event at the studio at Theatre by the Lake in Keswick. And the event we're hosting is a performance by Manchester Playback Theatre Company. Confused? Essentially, what I'm promoting is the show on Thursday, next Thursday, the 17th of July. It starts at 7:30 and it's on, as I say, in the studio at Theatre by the Lake. And that's a performance by Manchester Playback. So I'll be part of that team along with 9 other colleagues from Manchester Playback. And we're essentially a group of performers from different disciplines, actually, not just from an acting background, musicians, psychologists, counsellors, psychotherapists. We've got psychiatrists, teachers, a variety of people, but all sort of with a bent towards sort of therapeutic side of things. So playback theatre is essentially retelling audience moments, stories in an improvised way. So we rehearse, and I go down to Manchester monthly to rehearse with everyone. I've been doing it for quite some time now. The company's been going for 30 odd years, and I've been with them for a lot of that time. And we rehearse forms which then get applied to the stories that the audience supply us with. It's not a terrifying thing if you're a member of the audience. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to, but obviously we don't have a show if no one talks to us. So there is a conductor who is the sort of link between the audience and the performers on stage. It's quite a hard thing to describe, but it is absolutely magical if you get the opportunity to experience it. And certainly as a performer, it's a very enjoyable thing to do. You've really got to listen well. You've got to just go and be present in the moment, to work with your team of actors and a musician to be able to recreate those moments that someone might be telling you about in as truthful and as authentic a way and as a creative a way as possible. So I'd encourage anyone who's curious to come along to the show on Thursday at Theatre by the Lake. Tickets are available on their website. And then we're also we're fortunate to have the Manchester group staying up with us, and they're going to run a workshop on Saturday at Embleton Village Hall, which is near Cockermouth in the North Lakes. So I do apologise, it's all very North Lakes based, this at the moment. And the purpose of that is to do some basic playback theatre with whoever wants to come along to the workshop. There is a charge for that because obviously we need to cover the costs of the hall and everything. So it's 10 till 3 on Saturday the 19th of July. And the cost of that will be £20. If you have rehearsed with us before, then it will be £15. I'm not sure that anyone on the call here has rehearsed with us before. So we've been running workshops, sort of 18 months ago, I was on a call when we had a performance, I think it was in April time, which was a year or so ago. And then when we were just starting up the idea of a Cumbria playback group. And we've been running pretty much monthly workshops with various people coming into those. Some people thinking, oh yeah, this is great, I want to keep coming. Others thinking, oh, this isn't for me. And that's all fine. So we may well be continuing running those open workshops into the autumn. And as I say, we have got a core group of people who are keen on the idea, with the idea of building up skills of a core group of people so that we can then form our own Cumbria Playback Theatre Company.
So I was going to say, where's the Cumbria Playback Theatre Company's situation at the moment? Has that been created, or was that still in the offing?
Well, it's has it been created? We've got a steering group, if that's
right.
Well, that's probably as far.
That sounds like it's been created then.
It has sort of been created. We've got an email address. That's pretty good, isn't it? Does that mean you've got something? And we've got a core group of people who are keen on it. Of course, the never-ending thing is getting everyone to be able to commit to certain dates to get to the rehearsals. There's always other stuff in people's lives. We're all really busy.
And do you need funding to sort of, say, hire the studio at Theatre by the Lake or sort of thing?
No, we've been really fortunate actually. So the theatre have we've done essentially a box office split, so it isn't costing us anything. So hopefully the theatre will make some money, and hopefully we'll be able to recoup expenses. So far as certainly as far as Manchester playback goes, we're not in it for the money. We generally will have a fee that we charge someone for booking us, and we often do closed groups. So it might be a dementia and carers group that we work for. It might be in prisons. It might be counselling groups, and there'll be a fee for that on a sliding scale depending on what people can afford. But so far as us as members doing the performance, if the company manages to have a bit of good kitty every 6 months, then there'll be a divvy, but that generally sort of goes towards expenses. It's not money making.
What's the difference, Claire, as an actor? What's the difference between being an actor and having lines to learn and having a part to play in a play, and the playback methodology, which seems to be much more of an interpretation of what the audience are telling you they want you to sort of act out? What's the difference in approach?
It's very different because you're rehearsing forms. So for me,
what does that mean? Rehearsing forms. What does that mean? Rehearsing forms.
Okay, so what we do at the start of a performance, we'll have what we call short forms. So that might be something we call a fluid sculpt. So that will be, if you've ever done a drama class, you'll have done something very similar. So essentially one person comes forward, does a repeated movement and sound. Others then join one by one to do a repeated movement and sound. So you then make a sort of image, a tableau, which is movement and sound as well included, of that moment. So yeah, so it expresses, it's almost like going into someone's mind and doing all these different facets which you might see in a mind, and that can be interpreted in very different ways by each different performer. So that is one small fluid sculpture that might last a minute, if that, based on someone just saying, oh, I had a terrible morning, the car broke down and it was raining and I couldn't get the breakdown service to come and I'm feeling really stressed. And that might be enough for us to then just turn that into this fluid sculpt moment. There's other ways we do it as a chorus, so everyone working together as a chorus. There's another form called three solos, where there's three actors step forward and interpret something. It might be just elements of it, but you'll get a whole picture by the end of that piece. Three voices, where it's just the voice used. So there's various different things. And then the final part of the performance is doing a whole story. So we use cloths and probably more music actually involved as well to retell a bigger story that someone's told. So that might be, well, it might be something that we're tapping into the emotional content of what's happened to someone. So we did have one a while ago in Manchester, which actually had been someone being rescued at sea. So they had been on Saving Lives at Sea, apparently the same thing had been on. So it gets, a big dramatic life event that someone's had, and they're alive at the end of it, which is brilliant. But equally, it might be a much smaller, more intense moment. So as a performer, it really hones those listening skills for you.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. Yeah. Well, good luck with it.
Yeah, so thank you. Thank you for sharing. I'll pop a link into the chat about it.
Yeah, do before we close the call. And
yeah, also just want to say about those art, well, everything, the opera, everything sounds brilliant. I certainly want to go to them. And just thinking of the Bowness one, you probably can't see it, but on my wall just over there's 3 Alison Critchlow pictures, which I bought because of the art trail on the island there. So it really works. So good luck with the one in Shap. I hope to come to it.
Great stuff. Yeah, I mean, Al, it's an important selling moment for you, the art trail. Is that fair?
Yeah, it's really important. I think up here we have quite a few professional artists, so ours is very much to do with it being an outlet for selling, because there are very few galleries up here that show contemporary art. So there's that, and there's an aspect that's to do with inspiration, education. Like we've got the school joining in this year, which is cool.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I could rattle on about it forever. I'm not going to. But
do you get funding from anywhere to help support you?
No, we don't. It's self-funding, so everyone chips in a little bit. Everyone who's taking part chips in for the leaflet, and that's it.
But that sort of incentivizes you to make it as best as you possibly can, doesn't it? Because it's your own cash.
Yeah, and I think if you're going to get people all the way out here, it needs to be a really high quality event. So we're very keen to keep it sharp.
Yeah, it's also a beautiful part of Cumbria that is often unknown by people until they go there for the first time. It's just the most gorgeous bit of Cumbria, where you are, that sort of northwestern corner, which
there
is
was
almost
a lovely Solway fog this morning. Beautiful, watching it lift. Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very special part of Cumbria, so I encourage everyone to get there. And we'll hear more from Al a bit nearer the time, but it's in September, isn't it? Your trail.
End of September here. Yeah.
All right, great, lovely stuff. All right, it's 25%. I just wanted to finish on a little bit of feedback I've had about Cockermouth Live, which is what I helped to organise and which took place last weekend here in Cockermouth. Basically free music performances, about 80 performances across 20 different venues, some ticketed performances as well. And I'm going to take this bit of feedback in the way I think it's intended. And this is someone that says, "Hi, Tom. I've been talking with random friends over the last few days regarding Cockermouth Live weekend. The overall comment was one of great praise for the whole event and the organisers. However, one comment which came up for them all was that there was too much on and they were spoiled for choice as to venues and performers they would have liked to see, but which were clashing in times. I thought I'd mention it as it cropped up from all those people I spoke to. I hope it's helpful. A case of too much of a good thing. I hope this input may be helpful to you." Well, I'm going to take that as actually, that's fine. If there's too much choice at Cockermouth Live, I can go with that. And we'll try and schedule it so that you can see all the things you want to, but you can't please all the people all the time. As long as you can please most people most of the time, that's good enough for me. And one other thing about Cockermouth Live, it coincided with the reopening of Jennings Brewery, which there's been a brewery in Cockermouth for about 200 years run by Jennings, initially the family based in Lawton, but then they moved to Cockermouth. It then shut and was taken over by Boo Hiss sort of national breweries that ran it down, Boo Hiss, and used it as a storage depot, Boo Hiss, and didn't do actually any brewing there, Boo Hiss. It's been reopened as basically a big microbrewery, and they reopened it at the weekend of Cockermouth Live, and it's a really nice place to have a nice drink. It's right next to the river, and you can sit on the terrace on a sunny evening and just have a nice pint. And they've got big plans for it to become a cultural venue, I think, as well. They've got big spaces they're going to use. So if you're ever in Cockermouth and fancy a tipple, then the Jennings beer is also very nice, and that's reopened here in Cockermouth, and it coincided very nicely with Cockermouth Live last weekend. Right, I think we're done. So thanks ever so much to Joe and to Ben and to Deborah and to Claire for telling us about all the stuff going on. It's always a busy summer in Cumbria for various festivals and arts trails and things going on. The trick is to make sure you've got time to do as much as you possibly can. Ursula's got her hand up. You've got about a minute, Ursula.
Yeah, can I just advertise the Wayfarers Theatre have the Tempest? I put the link, the ticket link in the chat. So it's on this weekend and next weekend. And why I'm saying it, I've got a art exhibition to go along with it. It's an amazing show. It's really, really amazing. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's a matinee on Saturdays. This weekend and next weekend. And it's on the edge of Cockermouth. If you know where it is, yeah.
Absolutely.
Lawton Road.
Other towns are available in Cumbria as well as Cockermouth. But there seems to be quite a lot going on in Cockermouth at the moment. Thank you, Ursula.
I know. It's amazing. Yeah. I thought I'd just mention.
Thank you very much indeed. And that's this weekend, as you say, lovely sunny evenings.
And next weekend.
And hopefully next weekend as well. All right. Thanks, everybody. Next week, by the way, we're going to hear from Claire Harris, who works for Natural England. I met her at a conference I was at about 2 months ago. And she's a musician as well as working for Natural England. And we started to talk about how the arts and nature can have a Venn diagram that overlap quite a lot in as much as how they influence people to think differently. So I thought it might be nice to hear from her. So I'll probably fix up something else as well. But so far, that's Claire from Natural England next Friday. Have a nice weekend, everybody. Enjoy the sunshine and catch you all soon. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining us this morning. Cheerio.